Welcome to Make Shit Happen. My guest again today is Robert Harper. Robert's second time over here. Robert, thank you so much for coming over here to Make Shit Happen podcast.
Definitely, man.
I loved last episode that we did together, and it was great. And I wanted you to come back and talk a little bit more about it. And I know there's a lot of things you wanted to talk about last time that you couldn't talk about it. So, What do you think? Some of the stuff we want to talk about today. I want you to lead the show today.
Oh, okay. You kind of. Well, first of all, man, appreciate the invite. You know, this is always good when we get a chance to get together. So, we could talk about motivation. We could talk about, what drives us. We could talk about various things.
So let's talk about what drives us, right?
Okay.
I did a little video on Instagram, just a couple of days ago, and talk about, it doesn't. Someone told me, well, it takes money to make money. And I said, no, it doesn't take money to make money. It takes desire and will to make money, right? It's that willpower that I want to make money. Because, I'm a true example of that. I didn't grow up with money.
Right.
So anyone can make money because money itself doesn't have its own mind. Money cannot walk, money cannot talk, money cannot multiply itself.
Right.
It needs to be in someone's hand
Right.
who has the desire.
Who has the will, right.
And who has the will.
Yeah.
Dude, what do you think about that?
No, I love that. It's challenging, the normal, right? Like you just said a statement, hey, money, it takes money to make money, right? And so I think sometimes by you saying what you said and you kind of combated that, saying, hey, no, it takes will and desire, you're challenging that thought. So I love every bit of that because for me, you have to have a level of desire and will. I think that's what separates those that are good and those who are great, those that are successful and those who are not successful, right? Because when you start something, it's not that people don't have the will or the desire. This is what I would say, Sam, is that people have will, people have desire, but I don't think sometimes people have sufficient desire, right? Like you may know some cats that you started out with that, hey, man, I got a business idea, right? And they started out pretty good, strong, but then 2 years into it, they're not in it anymore, right? They're not doing what they said they were going to do. And that's just not about, they had the will, they had the desire, but they didn't have sufficient desire. And I think that's what separates people is like when it gets difficult, when it gets challenging, when you get met with opposition, right? Can you still persevere and keep going, right?
So some people quit as soon as they get the bump in the road, or as soon as the first failure hits.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. I was talking to someone the other day, and we're talking about like what defines you as an individual, what defines you, and what I was thinking about was that there's two things that actually define the individual. The first thing is intentions. And the second thing is opposition, right? So whatever you set out to do, like whatever the good you set out to do, that's your intentions. But also you're going to have some opposition, and that's really defines you. Like if you can come out on the other side of that, then that's what defines you, what you do. So for an example, a person may say, well, I have good intentions. Intention says, hey, I'm going to do the right thing. But opposition says, can you do the right thing when everything is going wrong?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the difference. Like what actually defines you as an individual, your character. Do you have integrity? Do you have staying power? Do you have psychological fortitude? That's what separates you from other people. It's not that you didn't have good intentions. You had good intentions just like the next person. But when that opposition hit, you were able to persevere.
Yeah. And opposition. Sometimes some people hate opposition and criticism.
Right.
They handle it differently.
Right.
Okay. Some people just say, well, screw them. I don't want to do this. I'm man, this is just too much.
Too much.
Why are they making me do this? And a lot of people, either give excuses. Mm-hmm. Some people fold, and some people really rise up to the top.
Right. And
I don't know where I read this, but they say the cream rises to the top.
Right.
Okay. And which also brings me something that I'm very passionate about. I preach it all the time. Is that 80-20 rule. You know anything about the 80-20 rule?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay. And the 80-20 rule is, 80% of the people will not do what 20% are willing to do. Okay. So I read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in there it says, if we give $20,000 to 100 people, 80% of those, those people will either lose the 20,000 or go in more debt. The other 20%, the 20% of the 100 people will either somehow grow that money or reinvest and make it grow. Now, of that 20% of the people, okay, so 100 people you give the $20,000 to, first 80 people will either screw the money off, go in more debt,
Right.
or do something. The other 20 people, they'll either grow the money or do something great with the money. Out of that 20 people, 20% of those 20 people, which is 4, will either grow that money exponentially up to over 100,000 or millions. Multiply that in a lot. And that's where the 1% come in effect.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get it, yeah.
You know how you always hear that 1% of the population has all the wealth.
Right.
1%, the top 1%.
Right.
The top this. Well, it's not the top 1% has all the money. The top 1% had the desire and the will to excel above the 97, 98, 96% of the rest of the people.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. There's 2 doctors can go to school. Okay. 2 guys goes to school. They both go to medical school. They both become surgeons. Right? One work for the hospital system and make a really handsome living. And one becomes a same kind of surgeon, same specialty, works for the hospital system, but later goes and open up their own clinic. They both had the option to do that.
Right.
One didn't want it to become uncomfortable.
Right.
One did.
Right.
Okay. The guy who did ends up making much more money because now he created something. The other guy just kept working for the same guy. He's making a lot of money. I'm talking about surgeons. They're making millions of dollars.
Right.
Okay. But one guy made a lot more. Jeff Bezos, right? He opened, we all talk about these guys, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all these guys, they started in their car garages or had a lot of failures. And, Amazon was a bookstore. Now it's a big time fulfillment company. And, I just read somewhere 38% of the online business that's done in America, Amazon does it. That's huge, right? 38%.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're basically telling me 4 out of 10, people who buy online are buying through Amazon. That's crazy. So, but it was his will. It was his desire that put him, in front of everybody. Everybody made fun of Tesla when it first came out.
Right.
Oh, it ain't gonna last. Fisker burned up, and this is what's gonna happen. Fisker I think it looked better. I think Tesla does not look as good as Fisker did, but Fisker had a lot of mechanical problems, and everybody told, Elon Musk, well, it'll never work.
Right.
Now everybody wants to buy Tesla.
Right.
Everybody wants to replicate Tesla.
Yeah.
Audi's coming with their own version. Chevy's coming with their own version. Everybody wants to be like Tesla.
Right.
Because he had the will and he had the desire.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sam, man. Like every person that you're talking about, they had a crazy amount of will and faith and belief in their abilities to be able to not be defined by their past, not be defined by other people. You know what I mean? Because like you think about those cats, they're doing things that no one's ever done before.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have a blueprint, right? So it's like, okay, I'm doing something, I'm taking a leap of faith, and I'm doing something nobody's ever done before. I was just reading about the Wright brothers, right? The people that, and I just thought that was just a crazy amount of faith that they had. It's like you think about these guys, they didn't get defined by their environment. They didn't come from wealth. They didn't have any technical training. They didn't have a lot of money for, so like, what did they have? They had belief, they had desire, they had will, right? And so like, from that point, they like, hey, it doesn't matter about what you say, about my past, about my failures. Like I got this unyielding faith and will to be successul.
Yeah.
Right. And so they became successul, the Wright brothers, right? So,
and imagine if they would have quit.
Yeah.
How would we go? How would we travel? How would we travel?
It'd be pretty difficult, man. It'd be pretty difficult. But yeah, we need that. And I think that goes back to just like for me, that's you made a good point, Sam. How would, like, because the Wright brothers, yes, they were thinking about being successful. Yes, they were thinking about, I want to, create this first plane, right? But it has lasting effects on other people that are coming after you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what motivates me. Like, to be honest with you, like, I got 13 nieces and nephews. And so for me, it's like, hey, I know that I have to be successful. I know I have to make the right decisions, the right choices, because I know people are looking at me. People are, seeing, trying to figure out, what is he doing? How is he doing it? Right. And so it's a motivating factor for me is that when you say to yourself, okay, yeah, this cat got will, this person has will, this person has desire, but I got this thing that's driving me. That's, at the end of the day, I'm not quitting. At the end of the day, I have something that's driving me to be successful. So,
so what is your, they say everybody has a driving force.
Right.
Why wouldn't you quit? What would be yours?
Man, I would literally say, I live by this philosophy that says, I want to give honor to those who came before me, and I want to give hope to those that are coming after me. Right. And so this idea of giving hope to those that are coming after me really resonates with me. It lets me know that it's not just about me. It's letting me know that every habit, every stronghold that I tear down, every habit that I break, every mental adjustment that I make, I'm making the next generation's load a little bit lighter. Like, so it's not just about me.
Yeah.
So when you have that mindset, you're not thinking about, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. This is not the right time. Like, no, I have to be able to do it so that I can make the next generation's load a little bit lighter. I put it like this. I share this illustration sometimes. If I had an apple right here, right, Sam? Yeah. And I just looked and said, hey, Sam, what is this right here? Because you're a bright, intelligent guy, you're going to look at it and be like, that's an apple. And I'm saying, yeah, it's an apple. Congratulations. That's good, right? Then I'll say, okay, Sam, a deeper question. What's inside the apple? And because you're bright and intelligent, you're going to say a seed is in that apple. Mm-hmm. I'll say, yeah, you're right. A seed is in that apple. But then I'll ask you another question, right? I'll say, okay, what's inside the seed? Uh-huh. And what's inside the seed is an apple. And what's inside the seed is an apple tree. And that's what most people don't understand. Like, the seed is our choices. The seed is your life. And your life represents consequences, good or bad. Mm-hmm. And so if I can say to myself that, hey, it's not just this one choice, it's isolated. I'm not on an island. Like, I want to be a seed, like, where I bear fruit and people can come from my tree and be nourished, right? And have a better life because of the choices I made. And so when you think about it like that, you say, okay, man, hey, every choice matters, right? Me getting up this morning matters. Me giving my all matters, right? Because it's not just this one isolated choice. This choice has lasting consequences, whether good or bad.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, that's very, very well said. So, yeah, what's inside that apple is a seed. What's inside the seed is an apple.
It's an apple.
Another apple.
Another apple. It's an apple tree.
Apple tree.
The possibilities are endless, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, shoot. It just... I'm speechless on that one. I mean, it's inside that seed is an apple. Yeah. Inside, or an apple tree. I mean, for a lot of people, to dumb it down, you got to put that seed in the ground for another tree to come out.
You got to put it in the ground. But here's the thing, Sal. People don't want to go in the ground. People don't want to go into that hard place, that waiting place. That they don't want to wait. They want to have what you have. Or they want to have what this person has tomorrow.
They want to have it now.
They want to have it now. They can't go inside that ground, like you just said, and wait and be watered and be patient,
I don't know where did I hear that about the bamboo tree? You heard the bamboo tree story? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. It takes, how long does it take for the bamboo tree to come out? Yeah. I think I told you that last time, right?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. It was good, man.
It's this, you plant the tree, and nothing comes out for 5 years, man.
5 years.
For 5 years. People in the neighborhood are like, what are you planting, man? What are you doing? Why you keep watering that spot every day?
You give it up, man.
And then, boom.
Yeah.
The bamboo tree pops up.
It goes up.
It goes up. And
that reminds me of this thought that I was sharing with some kids the other day, man. I was talking about the idea of waiting and being patient. And most people consider waiting and patience synonymous, like it's the same word, but it's not, right? Waiting and patient are different. Waiting is something sometimes forced upon us. We have no choice. We have to wait. But being patient is a gift. It's something that we can, it's a virtue, right? Like, for example, I remember growing up as a kid, and we would take these long family road trips. And my grandmother lived in California. And so me being, a kid, I'm in the back seat. Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Right. And so while I was forced to wait, I wasn't being patient.
Yeah.
So it's different. And so when I share with people is that, okay, being patient, like, okay, it's not going to happen tomorrow. When you start that business, it's not going to happen tomorrow. You got to plant that seed and you got to let it grow. So being patient says, okay, can you be patient enough to maintain your mission, your vision, your peace? You know what I mean? While you are waiting, like still have all of those virtues despite the external conflict, despite the opposition, despite the adversity. I still can be patient because patience just says, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe. Like when everybody else, that's why I keep watering every day, because I believe. I have faith. I trust. Like this is going to work out. This is going to happen. So
and you know what? I honestly, I tell everybody, like I've like someone asked me, what is your advice to any young entrepreneurs? And I always say they got to be patient.
Come on.
Okay. And I'm like, because everyone wants it and they want it now. And I always say you gotta crawl before you walk. You gotta walk before you run.
Come on.
And you definitely gotta train how to run before you go and sign up for a marathon.
Come on.
Because that's a long run, man. And if you're just a 1 mile runner or 2 mile runner, you can't run 26.2 miles. It's different.
Yeah.
You gotta know that you gotta have that mental toughness to go run for that 3.5, 4 hours constantly for 26.2 miles.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. I mean that why it is. And a lot of people, like, sometimes people don't understand that, but I love the way you explained it. Being patient is not the same as waiting.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you can wait, but you're not patient. I mean, you ever been to a doctor's office?
Yeah.
They make you wait outside of the office, man. They make you, and I'm like, why do all doctors do the same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
I'm waiting outside, then they take me and they put me in the room, and I'm waiting in that room, and then the doctor comes over there and sees me for 2 quick minutes, and then I'm waiting for the nurse.
Right.
And the nurse comes and talks to me, then I'm waiting for a long time to get checked out. And it doesn't, but at the same time, when I'm waiting, I'm definitely impatient.
Yeah, yeah.
So I like.
It's a difference.
It's a difference.
It's a difference.
So I like the way you said it and kind of reminded me. Yes, waiting.
Yeah.
It's not the same as being patient. So I appreciate you saying that, and that's why I tell people in business. I mean, you're absolutely right. Sometimes you can be waiting, but you're not patient, and you got to be. If you want long-term, effect, if you want long-term success, you got to be patient. You got to be patient. So
that's with anything, man. I like good home cooked meals, man. And you can put something in the microwave and get something to eat. But when you get a home cooked meal, somebody been putting their all into it. They've been letting it sit for a little while. They've been patient. Yeah. That meal just tastes a little bit different, man.
It does taste a little different. So tell me what have you been up to since last time we saw you?
Yeah, man. I think last time we talked, I may have been getting ready to start Live on Purpose event, and that's an event that I host every year. That was successful. It was the first time we did it virtually. It's called Live on Purpose. We got 12 people that just come in and pour into individuals virtually, right, and on various topics. And so that was awesome. That was great. We're actually gearing up for another event. My actual first time headlining and being the I guess the center person on stage for my own event. So it's called Talk to Yourself. It's based from my book, and so that'll be coming up in October. So
okay, the event Talk to Yourself.
Talk to Yourself.
What is some of the stuff y'all talk about in there?
Talk to Yourself, man. It's really about trying to give people principles that can really govern them in their lives socially, giving more self-awareness, letting people know that you have responsibility in the choices that you make, self-management, stuff like that, man. Because a lot of times what I've seen is that we can have the will, we can have the desire, right? But if we don't have these social skills, if we don't have the ability to manage ourselves, if we don't have the ability to be able to be responsible, not blame others, right? We can have all the will we want to, but sometimes we'll get in our own way and we become our own worst enemy. And so I'm trying to give people tools and principles that I believe that will govern them professionally or personally.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good. So what do you think? I mean, people like you said that they can have the will, they can have desire, but they don't have the social skills and stuff. What kind of social skills are you talking about? Why is it so important?
Yeah, it's important, man, because you want to be able to not only be able to manage yourself, but you want to be able
When you say
to
manage yourself, what do you mean?
manage yourself. Yeah, govern yourself, man. When you say you're gonna do something, you do it. You hold yourself accountable, right? You say, okay, this is what I set out to do, and I'm not negotiating with myself. I'm managing self. And not only when you manage yourself, you have to also understand that you may not be perfect, and so you have to take responsibility for even the L's, the loss or the lessons you learn along the way of not getting it right.
Finish the task.
You finish it because sometimes people want to, man, I didn't get it done because of my upbringing. I didn't become successful because of my family. I didn't become successful because of my dad or my parents. It's like, no, like you got to take full responsibility. Even if it's not your fault, it's your responsibility to make it happen.
So what do you think about when people say, "Well, I didn't finish," when they make excuses? Well, I couldn't do this, because those are the cards that were dealt to me. I'm in this situation because those are the cards that are dealt to me.
Right.
I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, it's called life, man. And I think having a victim's mindset says, man, life is unfair. When people start saying life is unfair, that lets me know that you have a victim's mindset. The kind of perspective you need to have on life is that life is life, and the tragedies and the hurt and the pain that visits you will visit all of us. It's called life. It's unfortunate, but it's called life, man. And so when you take that, life is not picking on me. Life is not targeting me. Life is life. It's my responsibility to be able to figure out how to navigate through this thing called life, and not just look at the losses, not look at what I lost, but look at what I gained, right? Because in the midst of everything that you think you lost and you thought you were so devastated about, it's like you gained some stuff too, right? And so I just tell people, focus on what you gained. The very thing in your life that came into your life that you thought was going to, destroy you was also sent in your life to develop you. So learn from it. So you got to take responsibility.
So take a lesson. So I mean,
take a lesson.
If let's just say somebody left you or you had a relationship and
Right.
You probably thought that was probably the most devastating thing that could have happened to you.
Right.
But then you meet the next person, it could be it could have been a game changer for you.
Right.
It could have been the person that you were looking for all along.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, or like a car you had, and just gave you a lot of problems. Got a new car, you're like, this is it. This is what I needed.
It's having this optimistic mindset.
Yeah.
It's not this mindset, okay, yeah, man, I failed, or this person walked away from me. It's like, hey, stay optimistic. It's possible. And that's one of the things I was sharing too with someone recently, is that it's possible is probably the word that I believe is so valuable right now, especially the times in which we're living in. We're living in some real negative times, right? People have some adversity, they're dealing with a lot of stuff. And I think the word called possible will ignite people's will and desire to go out there again. People who have been parked in life, who have been paralyzed and hurt and suffering pain, and say, hey, let me get back in the game again, right? Because this one word is possible. Now, because some cats you can go to and they just overly positive. You're like, man, hey, man, I don't know about you, but my life is not that positive, right? And so I'm not going to be overly positive. I'm just going to tell you, hey, it's possible. Because possible to me is, man, I'm being realistic. Like it's dark right now. It's bad right now. But at the end of the day, this is where you started from. But it's possible to get there. It's possible. And I think people, when you say possible, it opens up this mindset of like, man, I don't have to stay here, right? Possible mindset plus operating with a spirit of excellence produces open doors.
How I mean, you said possible mindset, and it's all about mindset.
Yeah.
And I believe mindset plays a major role
Right.
in your day-to-day activity. And I mean, what they say is little wins, create big victories, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so mindset brings daily wins to monthly wins to lifetime wins.
Yeah.
How important you think mindset is, and what kind of role does it play in one's life?
Man, mindset is everything. It is everything. I'm gonna try to quote this. I heard a quote the other day. It's a quote that my dad shared with me. I'm gonna try to share it, but it was so powerful. It said, "On the plains of hesitation lie the blackened bones of countless millions, who at the dawn of victory laid down to rest, and in resting they died." Okay, and so what the quote is saying is that most people, right, where they're at the dawn of victory, they're right there, they're getting ready to become victorious, get ready to have that positive outcome, that next relationship, that next breakthrough, that business is getting ready to blossom, but they rest, they give up, they quit, they stop, mindset, right? They give up, and in resting, they die, they quit, it's over. Right. And so mindset is everything. It's keeping this positive, optimistic, possible mindset that helps you to forge ahead during dark times. Right. In the face of adversity, in the face of opposition, when everything is coming at you. Right. It's staying focused and say, like, hey, I'm a person of faith. Right. And so I just tell myself, hey, man, if God is for me, who can be against me? Right. If God is opening up the door, right. If this window closed, God is getting ready to open up something else for me. Right. Because I believe that. And I believe that even though my situation may not be the best right now, that opportunities are out there. Opportunity. I had opposition, but it also can be an opportunity to the best part of my life. Right. So that's how I look at it. Mindset is everything, man.
So I mean, some people, they use it like like setbacks, to say as an excuse, and they say, man, you know what, I don't want to keep doing this. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I went to 10 different jobs, and nobody wants me. And you hear this all the time. No one is hiring, man.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because I went to 10 different interviews. Instead of us making tweaks and trying to go back and do self-reflection,
Exactly.
we just make excuses.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Why do we fail to self-reflect as people?
I think we got to get a greater perspective in who we are, or a realistic perspective of who we are. Right.
But here, hang on. Let me ask you this question again. First of all, why do we fail to self-reflect on ourselves? And if we don't know how to do it, I mean, how can we learn to do that?
I think we're better than we think we are.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a lot of times people don't self-reflect. They think their stuff doesn't stink.
Yeah.
They think I'm okay. And so you go in somewhere, you say, man, they should have hired me. I was the best person for the job. And you go back and somebody was really honest and transparent with you, that's been in the game for 10 to 15, 20 years, they can take you aside and say, hey, you got some changes you need to make. Like, you got a lot of potential. Like, you have a lot of great talent and abilities. You got the will, but let's go back to the drawing board and let's fix a few things. And if you do that, then, man, you well on your way, man. And I don't think people have they don't want to do that because they think they're better than what they are.
But I mean, like, sometimes you might not have that second person to tell you.
Right.
So how do you tell yourself?
How do you tell you?
Because most of the time, I mean, let's just face it, the world we live in, I mean, we not all fortunate to have that mentor to come along and tell us that.
Right.
But that's so important. That's why it's so important to have a mentor.
Yeah, that is.
But
true.
if you don't have one, and you're alone because you think it's you against everybody, how do you come to a self-realization of telling yourself, hey, man, I'm doing something wrong?
I think life will teach you, man. If you don't have a mentor, life will be your mentor. Like, at some point, it's that quote by Einstein that says, to do the same thing over and over again it's the definition of insanity, right? And so you keep doing the same thing over and over again. You keep coming up with L's, and you keep losing. You keep having unsuccessful relationship after unsuccessful relationship. Business keeps failing over and over. You gotta say life is teaching you.
Yeah.
Life is saying do something different.
Or jobs you keep getting fired from.
Fired from.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Do something different.
Change it up.
I mean, some people, they just don't realize it, man.
They don't realize it.
They don't realize it. They don't realize that if you don't go to work and don't call in no show, you're doing something wrong. They just think, oh, it's okay, man.
No,
I just woke up late. Why is he so mad? Why is he so mad? I just woke up late, man.
No, man.
You know, I didn't feel like doing it.
Eventually, they're going to be able to stay in as long as they want to because they're going to get fired.
Yeah. So, man, you know, I always like your positive, attitude on this. You said you are starting, you're doing your own thing in October. How can people know about that? I mean, how can people sign up for that? What do they do?
Yeah, it'll be on Eventbrite. They can sign up to Eventbrite. It'll be my page. My page is Robert Harper 2 on Instagram, but it'll be my website as well, robertharper2.com.
Yeah.
And
so Robert Harper, the number 2.com.
.com. It'll also be on my Instagram page, Robert Harper 2. And so
we'll put this on our podcast and also have it on our YouTube thing.
I appreciate it.
But you know, Robert, you said the other virtual thing you did. What was that about?
It's called Live on Purpose.
And so what is it? Is it somewhere where people can go and watch it, or?
Not right now. So if they contacted me, I can actually give them the they can get the old recordings of the event. Yeah,
Live on Purpose. And what was that about?
That was just about helping people, giving people principles and of life, man. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, right? So I know that I can't be all things to all people. So I just brought in some friends. I said, hey, talk about relationships, talk about business, talk about self-care, and we just talked about these different things that can help people live a more purposeful life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole virtual
event. Yeah.
Virtual event. Well, was there something that you want to highlight from there that somebody said or comes up over here? Share with with our audience on podcast.
Yeah. I mean, kind of going back to what we talked about today, I think the overall message was that is that we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Don't think that you don't have a purpose. Somebody's listening right now and they feel like they want to give up, they want to quit, they want to throw in the towel, or God forbid, commit suicide or something like that. You're like, hey, no, you're here for a reason. You have an assignment, you have a purpose, like you have a calling. And so I want people to really embody that you have something to do here and that you're valuable. So I think that was the theme of the whole virtual event.
That everybody has a purpose in life.
Everybody has a purpose in life.
And someone, so yesterday I was talking to this guy and he asked me, well, share, I don't know, you know a lot about me, but share, my family and me, we moved over here, close to 30 years ago, okay, to Houston. I mean, we came and we really didn't have no furniture at all in the house. I mean, we slept on the floor for a long time. And but we were happy, because we were together. Yeah, we were all happy, and I mean, I've shared this story with several people. The first couch, and it's ironic because today I sell a lot of couches, but the first couch that we had in our home came from a trash can. Okay, and someone had put that in the trash. My mom saw it, convinced us to go get it. She washed that couch for days. Flipped that couch and put these wire hangers to substitute for springs because the couch did not, and about 3-4 days later, and we had that couch for years in our house, okay, till we had enough money to go buy a new couch, okay. I'm literally, I think we had that couch, I can't recall it, but I think we probably had that couch for 5 years or 4 years, 4 to 5 years in our house. It was like this burnt orange couch. It was, but I tell people it's not where you came from.
Yeah,
it's where you're going. Yeah. Everybody has a purpose in life. Right.
That's powerful, man.
I almost quit my business right before my dad passed away. I stopped furniture business, and my dad said, I still remember that. He said, well, there are a lot of people who depend on you. So you shouldn't quit the furniture business. And I could have quit in 2009. Okay, but maybe I did have a purpose. I mean, today I employ a lot of people. A lot of people depend on me today. And I feel like everybody has a purpose. And when you do get somewhere, you have a responsibility.
Come on.
To give back. And I mean, and I thought about this a couple of days ago. Like, like someone asked me, well, why is it your responsibility to do this? And I never thought about it, right? I didn't have the right answer. But I think this is the right answer.
Yeah.
Because my dad said before he passed away, that there's a lot of people who depend on you.
Yeah.
And, and when you said this purpose thing, it just made complete sense to me. So I just came up with this realization on this podcast episode that everybody has a purpose.
Yeah.
In life.
No, that's powerful, man.
And maybe that's what my purpose is. That's what God wants me to be.
Yeah.
And like you said, if one thing closes, God has something better for you.
Yeah.
God has a plan set for each and every one of us.
Right.
But God is not going to come over here and hold our finger and walk us to that.
Yeah, man. The irony of that is so powerful, man. Like in your story, like here your mother is washing the couch, and here you now sell furniture for a living. You know what I mean?
Hundreds of them.
You know what I mean? The irony of that.
I mean, that's powerful. I'm probably delivering 50 couches tomorrow.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah, and that's why I always tell everybody. It's irony, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like where we didn't have a couch. My family. My dad bought this twin mattress from this garage sale. I think it was like $30 or $40. I can't remember right now. And then he went to this furniture store down the street and bought this metal frame. At that time, like twin size metal frame was $12. And they wouldn't sleep. My mom or dad would not sleep on the mattress. They let the kids take turns on the mattress. So like I'll sleep one day, my brother and sister will sleep on the next day, and I'll sleep on the floor,
right.
2 days, whatever it was. And I mean, it was just one twin mattress we had.
Right.
And I mean, so if someone says, "Oh man, it's easy for you to say," it's
they don't know.
They don't know. I mean, it's never easy. Money. That's why I say it takes money to make money. Might have some truth to it, but it doesn't really take money to make money. It takes the attitude, the will, the desire. And I had the desire, And I mean, that's what it is. I mean, nobody can say, I mean, like some people might say, oh man, like today, this is my 13th straight day working, no day off. 13th straight day because I have the desire, right? I have the will. I can do it. Okay. Last couple of days I've had long days, and I might leave out of the office, go to the store, meet vendors, have some kind of late meetings. And I mean, that's what a lot of people don't want to do. Gary Vee says that different people measure success differently, right? There's some people who make $30,000 and are completely happy. And it all depends on your desire and your happiness level.
Right.
There are people who make $30,000 a year and they coach they leave home at 8 and back home at 4 and coach their son, their little league football team and little league soccer. And they're completely happy because that's what success measures to them.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who are not happy doing that. Okay. And money does not buy anybody happiness. I'll tell you that today. Okay. But not having money. Okay. And that coming from somebody who for a while did not have money, I think buys you much more sorrow than having money. Okay. When you have to.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, when you don't have a place to live or a place to sleep on or bed to sleep on, when your car broke down and you got to go to a job and you don't have money to get that car fixed, that's much more. That's much more of a sorrowness. When you have kids and you don't have money to buy, groceries, that's much more of a. Or you have your kid with you and you're at a store and your kid wants that bubble gum or a candy bar and you don't have money to buy that candy bar. That's much more unhappiness than anyone can define.
Yeah. Okay.
Because all of us want our kids to have what we didn't have. Right. That's just every parent wants to make sure their kids have something they didn't have.
Right.
Okay, and I mean, growing up, I had a great childhood. I had great parents. I mean, but life do make turns sometimes. Life make left turns. Life make right turns.
Right.
Life make U-turns.
Right.
Okay, and you don't know what card is going to be dealt to you. Just like you said earlier, that's just life.
It's life, man.
It's just life. Sometimes you get some shitty cards dealt to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make some stupid mistakes. Okay? You don't think about it when you're making that mistake. But if you realize them and you come to the realization that I made some bad decision and I shouldn't do that.
Right.
But then there are some of us, they keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over, and we can't break that cycle. Okay? And I mean, and that's when we need to pray about it and think about it.
Yeah. You need some different type of strength. Yeah.
Yeah, a different type of strength.
Yeah.
Because some of us really do want to get out of that cycle.
Yeah, man.
But we keep making the same mistakes.
Same mistakes over and over.
Over
again.
and over and over again. And I mean, we know that it's not right, but we still do it. And I mean, I don't want to say that the devil's making you do it, because it's usually you doing it. But I don't know what made me do that, but I share with you.
Man.
So I'm sorry, putting that on you.
No, that was good. That blessed me, man. That was good.
But yeah. So I mean, that's why I started this thing, saying that, hey, it doesn't make money. It doesn't take money to make money. I believe it.
Yeah,
I came full circle.
Yeah.
But I love this purpose, man. So every one of us have a purpose.
Yes, sir.
There's and people might say, what kind of purpose? What do you say about that?
What kind of purpose? I think
because someone might say, well, okay, Sam, we get you. They're listening to, okay, we get you. You can serve. What kind of purpose can I serve?
Yeah, I would a purpose to serve.
How will they know what purpose they have?
How would they know? I would tell a person to evaluate their life, look at their gifts, their talents, their abilities, things that they do naturally well. I think everybody does something well, something that comes easy for them. Not easy, but easier for them, right? And if you can do something that you can tap into something and say, man, I like that. I enjoy that. That puts me in a place of happiness and joy and fulfillment, and I feel like I'm serving and doing something. Then I would say investigate those places in your life and see how you can serve. One of the things I love about you is that you know that you have a purpose, but you also understand that you're serving people, you're helping people, right? And that's what purpose is all about. If you're not serving anybody, then you really don't have purpose. You're not operating in your purpose.
I want to add one more thing to it. Like, sometimes people don't know what purpose they have.
Yeah, they don't.
But I would say, just keep doing things.
Keep doing things
positive way,
exactly.
And don't quit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Be curious.
You can be a photographer.
Yeah.
Right. And have you ever seen pictures, like you're on Instagram, and you see these videos or these pictures,
right,
that put you in a good mood,
right?
Okay, but it's that guy who's a photographer who loves taking pictures. Okay, now he could have just taken that picture and kept it to himself and his camera. But then there's another photographer who took that picture and shared it with the world.
Come on.
And I might not know that photographer, but when I look at that picture, it just made me smile, put me in a good mood.
That's good.
I think that's the purpose.
That's the purpose. That's good.
I think you served that purpose.
Yeah.
So I think
some people are holding that picture with them. They just holding that picture.
So I think whatever it is, I think everyone has a purpose.
Yeah.
And whatever we do, we just need to keep doing it. But we need to expose other people to it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was asked this question about why do I do this podcast? Okay. I said, my first of all, I like it. Okay. Yes, there's times that it can be overwhelming.
Right.
There's times that I'm like, oh man, dang, I gotta go find a new guest. It might be overwhelming. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it becomes a challenge. But I love it. I love it because I get to learn from people. I get to share their stories. I hear their stories. I've created bond with people who are there.
Right.
I mean, because somehow now they are in my path.
Right.
And they were connected from this podcast, but at the same time, I believe that God connects us in different ways.
Exactly.
Right? And I mean, you know, sometimes people like someone say, "Oh, how many people listen to your podcast?" It really doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
I do it for my fulfillment, and I put it out in the world so everybody else can listen to it. Right? If one person,
Right.
ever get inspired about what I do, I've served the purpose.
You serve the purpose, man.
And I mean, you know, so that's what it is, man. I mean, you know, I love that live on purpose.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
everybody might say, and if somebody hears that, what is my purpose? Well, your purpose can be anything.
Yeah.
Your purpose is to make sure whatever you do the best job, be the best at it, but make sure you don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Share it with the world.
Yeah.
And spread that joy.
Yeah.
Just like I said about the photographer. He takes the picture, he can keep it in his camera, and he can just, you know, he can have it himself, or he can share it. Now, especially now, with social media, share it with the world. And someone can see that picture, and it can put a smile on their face. It can bring them joy. Or they might want to go see that place, or they might want to be at that place. Okay? Little picture, like a sunset picture. You don't understand. It puts somebody in a totally different mood, totally different mindset. Yeah. So yeah, living on purpose, man. You know. So anything else we want to talk about today?
You did put it in my court, did you? Man, I enjoyed the conversation, especially with your testimony and your message, man. That was absolutely powerful. You know, I can see why you started with it takes will and desire. Man, if I were to say something now, I would just I would think about the idea of gratitude.
Oh,
yeah, the idea of gratitude.
You got to be grateful.
Yeah, you got to be grateful for the blessings that you have and what you do have. You know, thus far, I would strongly recommend people to be grateful for the giver of your gift, for the gift itself, and the possessor of the gift. And for me, the giver of the gift is God. The gift itself is whatever your craft is, and the possessor of the gift is you. Be grateful. Like, you're just a vessel. Be grateful for all of that, man, that God would give you this gift, you know, that you're a possessor of this gift, right? And whatever it might be. And when you're grateful like that, I think that just produces a level of excellence each and every day, because you're like, hey, I'm here. I've already won. I've already won. I wake up in the morning grateful. I've already won. You know, I get an opportunity to get up and move my limbs, and I get to see, and I get to, you know, go out and talk to people and work with people. Man, I've won already.
Oh yeah,
I get to use my gift. Man, it's a win.
Definitely. Yeah. You know, gratitude is so important, man. You know, I was reading. Let me ask you a question. Do you listen to, or I mean, do you consume any content from anybody? Do you listen? Do you read something? Do you listen to something to inspire you? What do you do?
Yeah, man. To be grateful, to specifically
just to have a positive mindset.
Oh yeah, man. I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is I pray. I think about the things that I have to do today, the day. But listen, I also try to read something. I try to read something or listen to something that I believe that's going to inspire me, motivate me. That's every day.
Who are some of the people you're listening to motivate you?
Oh man, people that I may listen to. You know, you have your Gary V's, you have your Eric Thomas's, you have man,
just some like in that realm, right?
Right. Then I have preachers that I listen to, man. I like listening to old sermons that inspire me. You know, things that, you know, get me going for the day, give me a certain perspective for the day. I have a book I'm reading right now that's dealing with compassion, and I didn't realize how big compassion is, man. Compassion, you need to have compassion not only for other people but for yourself. Yeah, and that's been big for me too. Is that even in the midst of this pandemic, have compassion on yourself when you don't get it right. And most people that don't have compassion for other people, they don't have compassion for themselves.
Yeah, I honestly think everybody should read something, listen to something
every day.
Self-realization. I mean, you know, just you know, pray about it. I mean, a lot of people say meditate, and I think meditation is really good. You know, but meditation can be done in a lot of ways. Like
Right.
me, I run. I like running in the morning.
Right.
Okay, and that's basically like kind of meditation for me because I'm by myself. I'm lost in that thought. But I like listening to a lot of I like listening to a lot of positive stuff.
Yeah.
And it gives me. I mean, it just tells me. I've been listening lately. I've been listening to books, Audible and stuff like that. So, hey, I want to be thoughtful of your time, and I want to respect your time.
Yeah, well, I
and we are
appreciate
coming towards the end of it, and you've done this before, where I asked this thing: if today was the last day on Earth, and everything got to go for you, right? Everything, all your podcasts, your books, your videos, everything got to go with you. You've lived 100 years, and now they say, hey, you know what? You got to go meet with your Creator, and they give you a pen and a paper. There's 3 things you want to share with the world. 3 things how to live your life. 3 truths, 3 keys to greatness. What will they be?
Oh, wow.
You forgot about that question, huh?
Okay. 3 things. 3 things or just 3
3
words?
It can be
or
3 anything, right?
3 anything.
3 ways to live life. 3 things to share with your great grandkids. 3 things to, hey, this is what you should do to live a happy life.
Yeah. I would say, number 1, prioritize your life.
Okay.
Keep first things first. If you know God is first in your life, keep God first. It gives you balance. It gives you direction. It gives you value, a sense of your values and your principles that you live by when things get tough. And you're going to need that. You're going to need God to direct you and lead you. Life's going to get tough. So you need to have priorities in your life. Know what's first, and know what's second, know what's third, know what's fourth
Gotcha.
in your life. I would say, going back to what we talked about earlier, that is, always operate from purpose. Always operate from purpose. And what that means is you have a responsibility, like you said, a responsibility to serve and to give, to pour into other people, right? Whatever your gifts, whatever your talents are, whatever your abilities are, you have a responsibility to give that away. And the last thing I would say to a person is that you need to always have pure intentions. Pure intentions or pure motives are important. Most people don't put a whole lot of emphasis on pure intentions. They just want to get what they want to get out of people, and they can be manipulative, they can be backbiting, or however they can get it, they'll get it. But pure intentions are important. And I say that because you can't always control how people perceive you, but you can always control your intentions.
Gotcha.
You can always control that. So keep pure intentions with people. That means when I look at you, Sam, I honor you, I respect you, I value you, right? I understand that you're a person, right? You're a human being, right? I'm not trying to get over on you or manipulate you, right? I see you as significant. And so I think through life, you have to prioritize, you have to live on purpose, and you have to have pure intentions with people.
I appreciate it, man. That's good. That's deep. And Robert, I want to thank you again, man, for coming into the show. And
sure,
hopefully I can get you again over here soon. And it's always great having a conversation, having a talk with you, man. So thank you for having this casual conversation with me. And
Definitely, man.
Thank you for coming over there. And I appreciate it.
For sure, man.
Thank you, brother.
This was good.